GM to YouTube, and today we're a little bit dappered up for the golden gnome we just won. Thank you to everybody who voted. Holy, best guide maker. By the way, the actual big reveal at Runefest was Yama, and this came out of nowhere. Endgame duo boss fight. What? This spring. Okay. All right. Yeah, sure. I'm down. So let's get into it. Let's see what all it has. The rewards are disgusting. We looked at it on stream. Yama is an entity more powerful than you can possibly comprehend, despite being a ferocious demon. His guile and charm have allowed him to wrest control from other demons, amass hordes of devoted disciples, and even influence the politics of Karen. It's time to put an end to his demonic charm offensive, venture into the chasm of fire, and take on Yama itself, and you'll be rewarded with powerful end game gear. Yeah, it's really strong. As you may have gathered from the opening exposition, Yama is not for the faint of heart. Challenging a demon this powerful is a task that only the most cunning among you, which means the boss is geared towards endgame players. Down here, Yama makes the rules, and because he knows the deal's in his favor, he'll even let you bring a friend to help out. Since this is an endgame piece of content, we're going to let you discover most of the mechanics for yourself. You can expect Yama to pull out every trick he's learned in his long existence. Powerful magic, bloodthirsty minions, manic cultists, good old-fashioned fireballs, you get the gist. While difficulty comparisons are always a struggle, the baseline experience will be a step beyond the Desert Treasure 2 bosses, and you'll have the ability to change up the fight by engaging with one of Yama's favorite pastimes, signing contracts. So they mentioned Desert Treasure 2 bosses. It's harder than those. It gives me the vibe of like Duo Nex or like Fasani. It's a step above some of the hardest single bosses. Yama loves a good binding agreement, and he's more than willing to lay some extra goodies on the dotted line. This contract mechanic could go in a number of directions, but the gist is that you'll be able to trade a harder fight for different rewards. We've discussed a few options below, but right now everything is on the table. We expect that contracts will go far beyond the original fight and prove to be seriously tough, similar to Awakened bosses from Desert Treasure 2. The contract system, I'm a little wary of. I think it really depends how they go about this. My concern is that it's similar to like Toa or Colosseum. Kieran has said multiple times that he's not happy with Toa invocations or Colosseum invocations, so I'm pretty confident they're not going to go that direction. I'm curious what they mean by contracts or what that's going to look like, but they don't really mention it too much. If you'd like to welcome Yama into your life, and he really, really thinks you should, simply vote yes to the following question. Okay, let's talk rewards. Okay, some of these are insane. In the interest of building suspense, we'll save the real heavy hitters for last and kick things off with a simple upgrade. Death Charge upgrade. For Yama, the Arceus spellbook contains a little more than party tricks. He's taken it upon himself to elevate some spells to new heights. If you're lucky, you could snag a page out of his gargantuan grimoire and put some of his forbidden knowledge to use. For the average magic user, converting a slain foe into spec energy is as draining as it is morbid. With the right technique, though, there's always room for more juice. The upgrade would permanently buff your death charge, allowing you to gain spec energy from 2 enemies per cast rather than just 1. I think this is a really cool, creative way of upgrading death charge. It doubles how good Death Charge is, but only in specific situations where you can take advantage. If you're killing Vardorvis and you're using Death Charge, it's still the same. It's the same spell, but maybe in the monkey room, it's kind of nice. You know, anywhere that's got minions, stuff like that, like this goes pretty hard. I can see this being disgusting at Maiden as well, where you're killing crabs. Definitely could be interesting. Pretty good upgrade. I think this is a really good way of going about that kind of buff. Surge Potion. If there's one thing demons love, it's consumption. Your adventuring types are just as gluttonous, so a consumable reward is the perfect fit. Like all good demons these days, Yama drops a strange piece of himself, some demonic tallow to be exact. These tradable organs can be used to make a brand new potion, boasting an effect never before seen in old school. These potions have a hefty herb requirement, but they should be more than worth the effort. Once every 5 minutes, you can sip from an adrenaline potion to restore 25% of your spec energy. Wow. Interesting. So once every 5 minutes is a concern for me. How annoying would it be if, you know, you sip, you're trying to do a speed run, you sip one of these potions, you don't get the hits you need, and you reset. You have to wait another 5 minutes. I'm hoping they keep in mind that that would be annoying and that like a pool resets it or coming out of an instance resets it or something like that. Surely the same way heart works, where like when you leave a raid, you get heart back, you can use it again. So I'm pretty sure they would think of that, but we imagine this will come in handy during enrage phases, clutch moments on low hit points, and speedrunning, or you can simply use it to give yourself a defense reducing special attack at the start of every kill. Pretty crazy. I think this isn't the craziest thing ever. Some people are really freaking out about this. I don't think it's broken just because 5 minutes is a long time. You'd be bringing this into raids probably. You'd get a full potions use out of the raid for an extra full 100% spec bar. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. The timing on using it is going to be interesting. Like when do you want to pop this is going to require a lot of thought. I like what that adds to PVM. That should be interesting. But yeah, I think this is a good addition. I don't mind it. You'll need level 81 herb, some demonic tallow, and a torstal to make a surge potion for yourself. Oh, and you'll need a drop of your own blood to make the magic happen. I think this is implying we're like damaging ourselves to make the potions or something. It's kind of weird. This sanguine secondary means you're making a brew tailored to you, so these potions are untradeable, though all of the ingredients except for your blood are tradable. Untradeable is interesting. You're turning everybody into Iron Men on this. I feel like for irons, this is just kind of irrelevant. This is the same level as Bruise, right? So you're going to have Bruise by the time you get to this boss. Surely, I would imagine. It's going to be pretty tough. Just requires mains to actually level up Herb for once. I think this is going to make Herb more expensive long term. So that's the one concern, I think, but not really a big deal. It's not a very high Herb level. This isn't like Overloads where it required 95 or something. It's 81. Cosmic Catalyst. If you've ever spent minutes staring at the bank, figuring out which runes to take out to cast everything you need from the Arceus spellbook, then you'll love this one. Cosmic Catalysts are tradable, stackable drops from Yama that will allow you to make a new combo rune. So long as you have 90 rune crafting, you'll be able to combine Cosmic and Soul runes into a Cosmic Soul rune, whose name shows us pushing our creativity to its limits. Nice. Cosmics and Soul runes, that just means you don't need loose runes for Death Charge anymore. So not only is Death Charge getting buffed, Spec Energy is getting a potion that lets you add Spec Energy. So you're getting more Spec Energy, and you're not wasting an inventory slot on loose Soul runes. Holy. This is a giant buff. Like, all of this together is pretty freaking nuts. The Ring of Shadows actually holds Soul runes, so it's not a big buff to like spellbook swap or anything like that. That should look very similar to how it is right now, but it's a huge buff to using thralls in general. Like, you just save an inventory slot. Pretty crazy. I will say as well, I think all of this together, it's really not broken. I really don't think so. I think this is a good change. This is a really difficult boss. It needs good rewards, and nothing here is like disgustingly broken. And you'll see why I think it's a good thing coming up. Spec Energy buff allows them to design more interesting spec weapons and a wider variety of options, which we're going to see coming up. There might be one. I think it's a good way to go. It's a good thing to buff because the game is better when you get to spec more. Just straight up. That's my take. Abyssal Worms. Okay, this is kind of like a what? Now for the one you've been waiting for, it's Worms. No, I don't think anyone was waiting for this, but being the master of packs isn't all brimstone and bureaucracy. It's hungry work and occasionally indulging in a hobby or two. Should you prove successful in your battle with Yama, you might earn yourself a handful of Abyssal Worms. These worms will increase the rate at which you catch anglerfish. I mean, yeah, Iron Men collecting anglerfish is a problem. Like, they will be very happy with this. Someone mentioned in my chat that why doesn't this come from sailing, since they've announced they're releasing that before the end of the year. Driftnet, like catching massive amounts of anglers, I feel like off a boat that thematically makes more sense, but it's not bad. Mains don't give a crap about this. They're not going to bother with this probably, but it is nice for irons. Definitely like the most like, what is this drop? I don't think it's bad necessarily, but it's not like crazy. Equipment rewards. Okay, pause. Since Yama's an endgame duo boss, Soul Armor. We have 2 unique rewards, a brand new armor set, and a unique team-oriented spec weapon. I have been wanting this a long time. I've been wanting that spec weapon a long time. Red Kiris outside of Toa is something I've always wanted. So they're adding something else that does something like that. Okay, pause. Slash armor set Soul Armor. The new set of armor is something of a side grade to Torva. As a full set, it boasts plus 38 slash accuracy over Torva. That is a lot. That's a lot of accuracy. At the cost of 7 melee strength. That's a lot of strength. Effectively, when paired with a Scythe of Vitter, this armor outcompetes Torva against enemies with high defense, but loses out situations where accuracy is less important. And we have the Soul Helm, chest plate, and plate legs. There is no prayer bonus. And one more interesting thing is that the defense is actually it's pretty weak compared to Torva, except in the slash area where it's actually much higher. So the slash defense is super, super high. And I looked at bosses where that's relevant. Really, the only thing where it matters is Vardorvis. Vardorvis is slashing you, and you're slashing him. He's very, very tanky against slash. So this will be not only super tanky against Vard, it will also be just solid damage. So pretty interesting for Vard. Compared to Torva, this new set is a bit weaker to stab, crush, and ranged, but slightly better against magic damage and significantly tougher against slash damage. Here's a quick table to show you the 2 sets compare, and there you go. There's your table. We're sure some of you are dismayed to hear you'll have fewer opportunities to flex your Sanguine Torva, but you'll be pleased to learn that the Soul Armor will have its own cosmetic. I cannot wait to go for that. That's going to be so sick on stream. That will be very, very cool. I want to go for Worlds first. So we'll see if we get it. I definitely want to go for that, though. That'll be really fun. Flashier version will be obtained through a contract, which takes your fight with Yama to a level truly deserving of its own cosmetic. That's all the detail you get from us for now. Very cool, very cool. This armor is going to be incredibly strong in CM, where you're using a scythe almost the whole time. Everything's super tanky. So great CM armor. Other thought is Tob. The thing is, in Tob, though, you're draining a lot of things to 0 defense, so it's kind of questionable there. I think you'll be wearing partial pieces in Tob. I think will end up being the meta. Whatever doesn't make you lose too many max hits, you probably won't wear the full set in Tob. But those are the 2, like, standout uses. A solid option as well, just for general stuff, if you don't want to go grind necks. On like an iron or something like that. Torva takes a really long time to get. Pretty good alternative if you don't want to go get that. Torva's still gonna have a lot of use, but this is definitely a really solid armor set. So okay, and this is the thing I'm most excited for. This is the Soulflame horn. And while some bits of group content do a great job of giving players roles to perform, most of it devolves into you and your friends doing the same thing you always do together. But do you hear that? It's the booming blow of the Soulflame horn, here to spice up how you tackle group content. Now, to be clear, this is not something that will be required for every group fight. From now until the end of time, in the right group scenarios, this is a very powerful addition to your team's kit. But we don't want anyone thinking they can't hang out with their friends because they don't have it yet. Its stats ain't much, but the Soulflame horn boasts a unique spec. Your closest allies within 2 tiles have the accuracy of their next melee attack, including special attacks, within the next 6 seconds increased by 100%. Okay, the wording is really bad on this. If the target is an NPC, the boosted attack always hits. Applying this effect to an ally will also apply it to you. Costs 25% spec per player affected. This is kind of like pot share spec, effectively. If you've used pot share, it's a 5x5 area it affects, so like a big area around you, a bit bigger than a barrage, and it shares your spec energy. So your spec energy is discounted, and then it's 25% per person. So they've said here that you can buff up to 4 allies, so that means 5 total people. So yourself is not counted, right? So if you're in a duo, you spec with it, it's 25% spec. If you spec in a 5-man team at Tob, the whole spec bar will get dumped. The Soulflame Horn's Rousing Bellow will provide an additional 100% accuracy to allies within 2 tiles of you, guaranteeing that their next melee hit within 6 seconds is successful against NPCs. Obvious thoughts here are Warhammer BGS. That's the most obvious thing. Like, it's going to be used to land hammers, which is amazing. Hammers are a big problem in PVM. Landing defense training specs is annoying. Nobody likes doing it. Having something that guarantees it is excellent. I think it has some more uses beyond that, though, and we'll get into that. This costs 25% per player affected, so you're limited to 4 allies, but it will also grant you the same buff if it affects an ally. This accuracy enhancing effect also applies to special attacks, so it should be easy to understand the potential of a Soulflame Horn into defense reducing special attacks combo. So did Seg won't know what hit him. Yeah, so it's the obvious one. This is something we've never tried before, so we're sure you'll have lots to say about it. Obvious thing is like you're going into a Tob room, slap the horn as you're running up to the boss, hammer. All right, awesome. Same thing for BGS, like a BGS drive-by bloat, 2 people do BGS specs, you both land it. Okay, awesome. I think this goes beyond that, though. I think this has some really cool hidden uses that I've thought of. We were talking about this on stream. I was thinking duo next Scythe, okay? Scythe is awful at next. She has an insane amount of defense. And Scythe's issue is that you're rolling accuracy 3 times, 3 times total. Like each splat has to land. So a guaranteed accurate Scythe is really, really good DPS. So using 25% spec to guarantee a Scythe on next might actually beat ZCB. Might not be bad. I'm curious to see that in Calcs. I'm sure Gearscape's going to be adding all this soon. Another obvious thing I thought of? Not obvious at all. I used to, for fun, bring a Soul Reaper axe to my Dolo Toas, and then you can actually charge the Soul Reapers. It instantly, like, rapidly damages you as you do skulls. So you can do skulls with the Soul Reaper, and it will chunk your health down, and then you can immediately spec the boss. My thought was in Team Toas, everybody bringing Soul Reaper, you pop a horn right after you end skulls, and everybody goes in specs with Soul Reaper on Warden for free damage. I think it's got some really unique uses, some really interesting uses. Also, the skill required to pull this off. We were thinking P2 Verzik. P2 Verzik is 3x3. So if someone ducks dead center of Verzik with proper timing, if you're under Verzik too long, like as she attacks, it can just one-shot you. But if you time it properly, you could step on in the middle of Verzik, pop the horn, and everybody attacking Verzik would get buffed. So this could open up some really, really cool, like, team play. You would have to really, really carefully use the spec. I think it's got a lot of interesting uses, forcing you to group up, forcing you to do some different things that you normally wouldn't do, and just increasing skill cap, along with using some really, really interesting methods. P2 Verzik, picture this, okay? You want to skip reds, boss has 15% health left, pop under her, give your whole team spec on the very last hit, everybody in your team challies, you dump the whole health bar instantly with like your entire team challying. Oh my, oof. Oh, it would go so hard. It would go so hard. And I also think it's not broken with the way they're like making this work. I love that it's like equally good in any group content, like duo to 5-man, it's gonna work for you. Pretty good. I really like the way they've done this. I'm curious to see just how good it is. I think there's gonna be some crazy uses. I also like that this encourages team play. Doing team Toas has never been that great. You now have a pretty decent reason to do it. Not only do you have red cares, you also have this horn that's gonna stack with it. Like now team Toas might actually be worth exploring. Kind of sick. Definitely an interesting item. Definitely interesting. I'd love to see how good it is. We'll see. And then continuing, that was all the gear drops. The gear drops are freaking nuts. There's so many good items. This blows the mokha blog out of the water, by the way. They were flopping left and right like, tiny little mage bonus. This is like, all right, this is going to be some good upgrades. Here you go. I love to see it. I think they really went in a good direction with this. Nothing is too broken. Nothing is too crazy, but everything is like encouraging team play, encouraging you to play better. Great additions. I really like what I'm seeing here. I really like it. Keep going. In just a moment, first Yama would like to offer you an exclusive tour of his beautiful home. Right now, the Chasm of Fire is just sort of there. Demons in the Catacombs currently already offer Dark Totem pieces and Ancient Shards, and Demonic Slayer tasks are usually aimed at Krill, Demonic Gorillas, or Tormented Demons. As your charming host, Yama would be remiss not to offer a few more amenities for his guests. I took this on stream as, oh, you need a task to kill Yama. I think what it's saying is this is going to be an update to the Slayer dungeon, and there's going to be more options and better drops there, probably. We're not going to get into all the specifics just yet. There's time for that in future blogs, but we've got a couple of things that we'd like to add that give the Chasm of Fire a little more life, even for those of you who aren't looking to take on Yama. We won't dive into everything we're looking to do with the Chasm just yet, so expect more detail in the near future. Okay, so they're looking to like flesh out Chasm of Fire a little bit. Makes sense. Mining. As a sneak peek, though, you've got a brand new mining method that will give you some rare and exciting new ore. In exchange for a bit of physical labor, you'll earn a new ore. Okay, this gets a little confusing. A new ore which can be combined with armor shards dropped by Yama to forge a chunk of soul armor for yourself. Armor shards are a common drop, so you can choose to save them up for a piece that you're missing, or you could sell them for a tidy profit if you've been lucky enough to get the whole set. The system sits alongside conventional drop mechanics for the individual soul armor pieces. We expect that you likely have obtained a number of pieces organically before obtaining enough shards to make one for yourself. So basically what this is it's luck mitigation, but in not a really annoying way. It's not like Moons where it's just like, you get each piece in order. It seems really arbitrary. I don't really like that about Moons. I like that this is a drop in addition to the armor pieces that lets you fill in a gap that you're missing at the end of your grind. It's our hope that the relationship between entire soul armor piece dropping, the armor shards, and the ore from this activity will self-regulate. What we mean by this is that if loads of people do the mining for the ore, then they will go down in price, and more of the value will sit with the armor shards from Yama, driving the GP an hour of Yama up. If people stop doing the mining, then the armor shards will lose value, the ore will go up, driving the GP an hour of the mining activity up. Yeah, that's all sound. It makes sense. I think this sounds solid on paper. Could be an interesting way to make scaling more profitable for those who are so inclined. I like that it doesn't lose that like wow factor of getting an armor piece as a drop, but it still is like, if you're getting 5 chest plates in a row and you just don't want another chest plate, you've got something that's like, you can fill in the gaps that you need if you're like an iron. I think it's solid. I think this is fine. I'm pretty happy with this. Way, way better than the way they did it with Moons or the way they've done it with, like, God forbid, Desert Treasure 2, right? This is a lot better, I think. We'll have more to say with both of these activities in the coming weeks, but for now we want to know your thoughts on the boss, the rewards, and the improvements to the Chasm of Fire. Let us know what you think on the usual channels, and remember, always read the fine print. Pretty unexpected and pretty interesting. Wow. Wow, wow. The rewards sound cool. The boss sounds cool. I love that it's a duo boss. We just had Titans that was a great boss, but just aimed at lower levels. Immediately going into a high-level version of that. Oh, chef's kiss. I've been wanting more group content a long time. This is amazing. I love to see it. I'm actually so excited. Really, really good. And such a breath of fresh air after Mokha's rewards were so lackluster. It's really, really good to see. Also, the release date, this is actually coming out before Mokha. This is coming out like this spring. Like it's coming out soon, a month or two. Like, okay. Crazy. I'm assuming end of March or end of spring, but wow. Okay, they just pulled this out of nowhere. Awesome. They're so sick, so sick. Runefest in general was just really, really stacked. There were a lot of really cool announcements. Really, really awesome. I'm sure we'll be doing more videos in the future on all the rewards and all the stuff coming from here, but I just want to get like a first look. Like this seems really, really awesome. I wanted to say thank you to everybody that voted for me for the Golden Gnome, and a big thank you to Hedron, who actually makes all the guides. I record them, but Hedron is equally a part of making them. So thank you guys so, so much. Big shout out to the mod team as well that helped me get everything done. Really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. So, so much. It means so much to me. I really love making guides for you, and I feel like I've become a lot more well-rounded in trying to make guides for a wider audience of people, like of all backgrounds. So I think that's really helped me. One of the best ways to better learn stuff I found is also just teaching it. So I love teaching. It's so awesome to have the opportunity to do that for you guys. So thank you guys so much. So much. That's it for the video. Leave a like if you liked it and or subscribe. Thanks so much. Adios. Mwah!